Yo, it's Curtis back with another portfolio update. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Had I recorded this video last Wednesday, I'll be reporting to you just shy of a 10.5% profit. I decided to record this video on the weekend. Well, actually, it's Monday morning now. And I've got the absolute pleasure of reporting to you that it's now a 50% reduction in my profit, sitting at about 5%, 4.5%. I haven't done the exact calculation or the exact maths, but I was sitting at about 5,500 and now it's 5,240. So it's just over 50%, about a 52% reduction in stocks. Now, there's good news and bad news. Generally, there's never really any good news when you're losing money. But I guess in this context, there's a silver lining, shall we say. And fortunately, the reason for the reduction, so I think it's really, really important and imperative for the channel, for myself to be as transparent with the down cycles as well as the up cycles. It's no good every week or every month reporting profit here, profit there, because that in reality is not really a true flavor or true representation of how the stock market is. I've been in profit, pretty much since I've started investing in December. I'm still in profit now, and that's probably due a little bit to timing. But I think it's really, really important to show, the volume of losses that you can sort of incur, through the course of your investing journey. So the reason why I say it's good and bad news is that, fortunately, it's more at a macroeconomic level than it's at an individual stock or equity level. And what do I mean by that? So what transpired last Thursday and Friday particularly is that the pound rose. So from an economic standpoint, when the pound rises, its relationship with equities is as follows. Usually, obviously, from a forex standpoint, it's good news. From a currency standpoint, it's obviously great news. But from an equity standpoint, UK businesses that have exposure in Europe, in America, in Asia, which generally from a FTSE 100 and a FTSE 250 standpoint is generally all of them. What tends to happen is that companies that have dealings with or international dealings, they will see those shrink just because exports will become a lot more expensive. Imports will become a lot more cheaper. So companies outside of the UK that's transacting with companies within the UK will reduce their spending because obviously the pound has increased. Now, what we've noticed is that the house builder market has dropped 1.5%. So it's been one of the most significant declines in the house builder market. My personal portfolio context, it's probably been about a 30% drop in the profits for the house building stocks that I currently hold. To sort of put it all into a bit more context at a sort of more macro level, the FTSE 100 on Friday, the 22nd of March, has seen its worst day since December 2018. And you guys know that I started investing long term in December 2018. So obviously, we've been seeing highs and obviously some slight dips, but generally speaking, it's been going in the right direction. And the FTSE 100 has seen its worst day, and that obviously accounts for such a dramatic drop in the profits that I'm currently seeing and experiencing at the moment. Banks seem to be affected. Obviously, they have a large exposure into Europe and obviously internationally as well. As you can see from my current portfolio, this is the first time that Barclays has ever been in the red. So that's obviously quite significant for me, and just again it kind of shows the picture that it's not any fault with any individual specific stock or security, but actually it's a picture or that represents the whole economy, I guess, as a whole, and what's sort of really been happening. I guess you guys already know that I'm a sort of big free trade advocate, very active in the community, and I think when stocks are rising, you probably, aren't aware of features that you may sort of benefit from within the application as much as when stocks are falling, and especially having such a significant drop in just a 2-day period. And sort of what became a bit more clear to me is that the graphs that we sort of have on free trade aren't sort of as useful to me at all, really. Obviously you can kind of see this little curve, this little indent towards the 6,000 figure here. And that's sort of the biggest indication that my portfolio has dropped. I've really got to go to other platforms in order to try and evaluate, where I've seen the drops, how significant the drop is. I don't even really get a flavor of how much my portfolio has dropped in the last week. So it'll be good to kind of have, similar to having, where it says 3.47 and 15p Aviva, and that's obviously for Aviva, not for my personal portfolio. It'd be good to have some sort of indication there for my personal portfolio. This is the reduction that you've kind of seen over the past week, and maybe updates every, close of every trading week. Also on an individual stock standpoint, this drop again is about the stock on that specific day. My portfolio, I already know that my portfolio has probably dropped probably about 15-20% in profit. Obviously it just tells me I'm 0.74% up, but what I really want to get a flavor of is, yes, I'm up overall, but how much have I sort of been reduced? And it's particularly important to me because I'm dollar cost averaging, and my approach is to invest more where the stocks have dropped the most. Then that kind of data is quite meaningful for me. So I do have to use another platform, and I've got videos coming up on how I sort of do my evaluation. So in terms of next steps, you guys will know that towards the end of the month is my normal round of investing. So what changes? Nothing much really. I will continue to invest my regular amount into all of the stocks that I currently hold. Maybe a bit more into Barclays, just because it's the first time it's sort of been into the red, so might want to sort of capitalize on its down cycle. If I was to perform any sort of different action, and actually I'm about 50% on this, and I'll explain why, is that I may not invest any more money into Sentiment and Man Group. All of the other stocks have performed badly as a result of the issues that I explained earlier in this video. However, Sentiment and Man Group consistently perform below the rest of the stocks. They consistently index at a much lower level of return than the rest of the stocks. Now, I'm not going to sell it while it's in the red. What I will do is just hold them, and I might actually then use the funds I would have invested into Sentiment and Man Group traditionally into some new stocks to introduce into the portfolio. Now, over the last week, I've been analysing every stock that Free Trade has on its platform. I think it has over 300 stocks. It's been more of a sort of high-level crude analysis. I've been able to whittle down the 300 till about 20 stocks that I'm interested to potentially bring into the portfolio, at which point this week I will do a bit more of a granular analysis on those 20. And the goal is that I'll find 2 or 3, at least 2, that I will introduce into the portfolio this week. And I will, use the Sentiment and Man Group funds to invest into them whilst holding the current Sentiment and Man Group stocks until they start to return a profit. So I will do a video this week, sharing how I sort of made my decisions in terms of choosing those additional stocks, should I choose to do so. It was the same methodology I took to choose these current stocks that you see in front of me now. And also, they've been doing well. They've been doing well up until this point. So, the methodology for me is not necessarily, factually that it's the best or it's 100% it's going to work, but it's definitely not the worst. And it's definitely, going in the right direction, bar obviously these sort of macroeconomic swings that sort of are pulling it back a little bit. So happy to share that. I will post a video at some point this week, so if you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you get notified when this video becomes available, and I'll also share another update when I actually do decide to invest into those 2 stocks, and give a nice little sort of explanation as to why I chose those 2 stocks as well. I'm currently sitting at about 72, 73 subscribers. I really want to get to 100 subscribers by the end of this week. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed to the channel, Infinite Investors is about sharing, clear, transparent, easy information for anyone that's new to the stock market, or anyone that's maybe got a budding interest in the stock market but hasn't actually taken the leap to start investing. I'm quite new on my investment journey. And so I like to share, the progress. I like to, share information about stock movements, news and updates that affect stock prices. And hopefully it's in a way that is very clear, simple to understand, and, gives people confidence to actually make the leap and start investing in the stock market and, going on their journey towards financial freedom, I suppose. So, if that's something that you guys are interested in, please hit the subscribe button. If you know people that may be interested in the videos that I share, please share the videos on your social media platforms. Please like and comment, and obviously I'll reply to every comment, every message. Thank you to everyone that's been doing that up until this point. It's been greatly appreciated. So yeah, that's my portfolio update this week. A 50% loss is the main headline, but the good news is that it's at a macroeconomic level. I guess, we have to see what happens this week. Potentially, I probably will expect to see a bit more of a pullback as well, a bit more of a reduction. So that might actually grow. But, I try and look at that as the positives in that is that it's a buying opportunity to get stocks at a lower price. So, there's always a silver lining, I guess, in this game. But yeah, please like, please comment, please subscribe to the channel. Hopefully your portfolios hasn't shrunk as much as mine, but let me know. It'll be interesting to know, how you guys have been affected by the last couple of days, if it is just me or if you guys have seen a similar trend. Couple more videos coming up this week. Wish you all the best. Have a great week. Hopefully, you reach your investment, your portfolio goals. And last but not least, happy investing.